Hi, this is Aaron with Diversity Coders, and today I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of the application, the routing application Routerbout. And Routerbout is application that you can use to route items from one location to another. And I think you'll get a very good idea of it in this very short demonstration. So we're looking at the login screen right now, and if you're not a user in the system, you can click on the register link there and fill out all of the relevant information here. Once you click register, you'll be sent an email notification. There will be a link in that email notification. Once you click that link, that will complete the registration and you should be able to log into the system. So we'll go back to a current user and log that current user in. And this little error message, you'll get that the first time you log in because there's not a order number that we provided. So we'll just go ahead and refresh. And right now we're looking at this particular order. It ends in 400-4. There are 3 items on it. A hard drive, a video card, and a heat sink. We can see that the hard drive is at a location called failure analysis, and the video card is also at a location called failure analysis. We have a heat sink, and the heat sink is at a location called transit in. So let's go ahead and route an item here. We're going to route this heat sink. Right now, the heat sink is in a location called transit in. We want to route this heat sink. Let's say we want to route it to inventory. So first thing we have to do is we have to accept this item. And when we accept it, we're accepting, because it's in location transit in, we are essentially accepting it into the Routerbout system. So we click on the check mark there, and if we want to enter in a comment, we can. And accept. We get a little notification here alerting us that the item was accepted into location transit in. Down here, we notice that the icon has changed from a check mark to a pointing finger. This indicates that the item has been accepted into this location, transit in, and that it can now be routed to another location. So let's go ahead and route this. Click on the little finger icon, and it brings up a little input box. Click on routing locations, and these are all the locations in the Routerbout system where items can be routed to. The locations that have an envelope next to them are locations where email notifications will be sent out to relevant personnel when an item is routed to that location. So we want to go ahead and click on inventory. And if you want to enter in a comment, we can. It's not necessary, but we'll go ahead. And the item was sent to inventory. The icon changed to a check mark, and we have the notification up here that the item, we have the part number, serial number, and that it was routed to location inventory. So someone working in inventory, once they receive the part, verify that they have received the part, they can go ahead and click on this check mark, and again, if they want to enter in comments, they can. It's not necessary, but then go ahead and accept it into inventory. So we'll look at some of these other links up here. Let's say you receive an item and has the order number attached to it. I'll just copy one of these right quick. And let's say you had that order number. Just click in Add Filter, and it will show you all the items underneath that particular order. Or it'll show you all of the orders, excuse me. It'll show you that order. Now let's take a look at Location Admin. So Location Admin will list all of the locations that items can be routed to. We see that we have a location name. We have a Notify button. The Notify button is a setting that will determine if email notifications are sent out once items are routed to a particular location. So for instance, if an item is routed to functional tests and the Notify button is selected to no, there will not be an email notification sent out that the item was routed to that location. If it's set to yes, it will. The alert minutes will designate how long to wait until a follow-on email is sent if the item has not been accepted in a location. And you can manage the Routerbout users who receive an email alert by clicking on Edit Users. And you can add or remove, go ahead and close that. You can add or remove users. So if you do not, if you have someone listed up here, you do not want them to receive the email notifications anymore, you can just remove them here. The Edit Alert setting, again, is the setting that determines how long to wait to send a follow-on email once an item has been routed to but not accepted at a location. And you can set the workday start and time. So let's say for this particular location, there's a particular time frame that they're willing to accept items into their location. And I have this set right now as 12:16 through 16:50, which is 4:50 p.m. You have to enter in military time. So items that are sent, so this location is willing to accept items between 12:16 and 4:50 p.m. And you can change that, of course. And let's go back to Edit Alert. So let's say they want 6 minutes, a 60-minute, 1 hour buffer between an item being routed to functional tests and it being accepted. So we want to give them 60 minutes to accept an item once it has been routed to that location. So we just click Submit. And you can do that for any of your other locations here. So let's go up here and look at the orders dashboard. So the orders dashboard lists all of the orders that your ERP system has designated as orders that should be in the Routerbout system. So these are all the orders, and it provides a link to that order. So if you want to go to it, just click on that link. And I'll just go ahead and choose a different one since we were just on that order. And you can see we have the 3 items. They're all in a location called Transit In. We just discussed that just a little earlier. So if we wanted to move these items into Routerbout, we would just click on the check mark and accept them, and they will then officially be in the Routerbout system. If we knew what the order number, I'll just copy one of the order numbers here. If we knew what the order number was, we could just enter it in, add the filter, and it would quickly find it. If we wanted to filter by customer, we can do that. And we can also filter by state, city, zip, and the order date. So we can look at orders that that have been created within the last 30 days, or if we want to look at orders that were created before a particular date, we could do that. So this orders dashboard would help you find orders in the Routerbout system. Next, we're going to look at the location dashboard. The location dashboard will give us a list of locations that items are currently in. And as we saw with the orders dashboard, we can filter. So I can just click on here and I can select orders prep. And I can see all of the items that are currently in order prep. If I wanted to change that to a different location, I could. I can also, let's say, look up by particular department. So let's say manufacturing, I can look at all the items that are in manufacturing locations. And similar to the orders dashboard, I can look at items that were routed, let's say within the last 30 days, or we'll say after a particular date. So we'll say after the 10th. And these are all the most recent routes that have occurred in the system. And of course, you can also filter by serial number, part number, and order number. Let's take a look at user admin. So with the user admin, this will require administrative privileges. And once you have administrative privileges, you can go in and you can disable accounts. And you can designate who is an administrator and who is not. Now, if you want to disable an account and that account has administrative privileges, you would need to remove the administrative privileges first. So with this individual, you'll notice that if I try to set it to no, it immediately flips back to yes. So you need to set that administrative privilege back to no, and then you'll be able to disable that account. We'll look at metrics dashboard. And the metrics dashboard just gives us some a quick look of where everything is in the system. You can see, for instance, the number of routes by department. So this is telling you how often items are being moved by department. It shows you the number of items that are currently in Routerbout and your ERP system, and the number of items that are in orders Routerbout Transit in. And also I have down here the number of Routerbout users. Now this is actually this dashboard is something that you can manage, or if you want to remove some of these items that are showing up in the dashboard, you can. If you want to add any, you can. It uses Metabase, which is an open source database. And you'll actually have the administrators or whoever you designate will have access to this dashboard to make any relevant changes that they wish. And we can also see under quick metrics, we can look at the average days that items are in a particular location, and we can do that by department. We can also do it by location. So here we see that for functional test, items are typically in functional tests for 19 days, sustaining engineering, 18 days. We see they're in inventory for only 6 days on average. And this is just tracking how many items are routed by location and date. I'll go over all of this in a different video, but it just gives you some quick metrics of how everything looks in the Routerbout system. So that's it for Routerbout. If you would like to test it out on your own, you can go to routerbout.com. You can either use the demo account to test out the system, or you can register as a new user and then test it out. The big difference is that if you were to register the system, then all those notifications that I spoke of before, you would be able to receive those notifications. So you kind of get a good idea of how those notifications and alerts work out. So I'll just go ahead and use the demo account. And the password is demo pw. And log in. And it'll create a new demo session with a work order number, excuse me. And you'll be able to do all of your accepting and routing. So just as before. We'll send it to, let's send it to rework. So this item has been routed to location rework, and you notice that the icon changed. This is using Routerbout Demo. Now, Routerbout Demo is actually a slightly older version of Routerbout, but it pretty much gives you an idea of how the application works. You'll notice that some of the dashboard links are not listed, but everything else pretty much works the same. So like I said, you will see that some of the features that we saw in the video are not available on the demo version. And like I said, that's only because this is a slightly earlier version of the software. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions or would like have any interest in using the application, just leave comments below, and we can take it from there. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.